It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
There's a bill that's been filed. I got it here in front of me, House Bill 1059, an act concerning the use of physical force in defense or in defense of others and for other purposes. It is a bill drafted by State Representative Aaron Pilkington. And he joins us now on the phone. He's from District 69. Aaron, welcome to the program, sir.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So what made you, sir, want to write this bill?
Well, to be honest, I had some constituents reach out to me. This was something that, they, like I think a lot of Arkansans, believed we were a stand your ground state, and then they actually looked into it and realized we weren't. And so they came to me and asked if I was willing to do it, and I said, sure. This is something that I definitely believe in, and I'm, was kind of shocked myself at the fact that we didn't have better legislation that allowed us to protect ourselves and protect our loved ones. And so I was happy to do this because I think, being especially in a state like Arkansas where it's rural and sometimes, police can't get to you in the right amount of time, you need to be able to protect yourself and your property and your loved ones.
Yeah, you need to be able to have the confidence that, your whole life's not going to get flipped upside down, if you have to do the unfortunate thing and use force against somebody or even deadly force. I see here the underlined portion of on the first page here. This is one of the additions. A person is justified in using physical force upon another person in defense of a person at any location where the person is lawfully present. So that seems to be something that's needed here. What other additions do we have? Like what is this bill going to do, Aaron, that we can't do right now?
Well, so right now in Arkansas we have a duty to retreat, which is if you're in a situation and you can retreat without using deadly force, that's what the law would have you do. And what the problem too is it causes a lot of confusion among prosecutors as well, because at what point are you trying to make a decision whether or not are you right to retreat? Do you need to retreat? And something else too, if you're in a situation where you think you may need to use deadly force, you don't need to be second guessing yourself, because that's where seconds matter the most. And something too that there's also an addition is there as well is if you are witnessing an attack, let's say that you're witnessing a sexual assault like a rape or something like that, you're allowed to use force to stop that, whereas previous legislation would require you to retreat and then call the authorities. And I think if someone was being sexually assaulted, they would want that to stop as soon as possible. And so I think this allows us to step in and allow citizens to prevent things like that happening.
Yeah, that would be awful. Like, 1 second, let me call the government before I can help you, or let me call the government. Yeah, that's just a terrible idea. I did see that there was some criticism from Democrats, and I wonder if you could help me walk through this logic here. We're talking with State Representative Aaron Pilkington about his Stand Your Ground bill that is going to be debated in the upcoming legislative session. State Representative-elect Denise Garner, a Democrat, she tweeted this about Stand Your Ground law. Because prosecutors aren't out to prosecute people who are justifiably using self-defense, what the bill really does is protect people who aren't justifiably using self-defense and are up to some other sort of no-good they're up to some other sort of no good. Sorry, I was reading the rest of the tweet there. So what do you think about that statement from Democrat Denise Gardner, sir?
I think that's just, you've got an inexperienced freshman legislator who doesn't understand the motives behind this. And I think what needs to happen is she needs to stop watching MSNBC and realize that people in Arkansas are not wanting this so they can do nefarious things. They're wanting this because they want to be able to protect their property. And, maybe in Fayetteville, she doesn't understand what it's like being in a rural district where you've got, a 100-acre farm where someone might roll up on you and you don't have time to retreat to a safe location. But, the law or the local prosecutor might say you do have a duty. And so trying to make those decisions in those, those split seconds is could be the difference between life and death. And I think the law should be there to protect those people. And so I think her thinking of this is somehow a bill for people to do nefarious things is really ridiculous.
Well, yeah, and what if the prosecutor, I mean, she's essentially saying that we should rely on the discretion of prosecutors, which is an uncertainty for people because you and I both know prosecutors have different political beliefs, and you might have some prosecutor that's anti-gun, and they wrongfully ruin someone's life and make them take them to court over something that if we had a law, then they wouldn't be able to do that.
Correct, and I mean that's something too. I think ambiguity in the law is always going to be a problem, and the more that we can do to clarify things, the better. Because like you said, different prosecutors it's going to be a different situation. Some may see it as they're justified, and other ones could see it's not. And I think all that does is make it harder for us to exercise our rights to defend ourselves when things like that happen. So to me, this is just this is a no-brainer that we should be able to protect ourselves and make sure that the law allows us to do that.
We're talking with Aaron Pilkington, State Representative for District 69, about his bill. It's a proposal, House Bill 1059. You should check it out. It's about making Arkansas stand your ground state. Aaron, I see you right now. I don't see any co-sponsors with you. So how is that going, and how is this being received by your other fellow Republicans?
It's being received really well. We're going to have some meetings coming up here right after the session begins, and I'm going to start building kind of my coalition of co-sponsors with it. But I'm not getting any pushback right now from members of my own party, so I'm very confident that I'm going to be able to get a decent amount of people to support this as well, and especially, like I said, because a lot of us rural legislators, we understand how important this bill is. They're probably the most vocally ones who are supportive of it, who have reached out to me and said, this is great. I'm, glad you're running this, and, let me know if I can do anything to help.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We don't yet know. I know we know the committee assignments in the Senate, but we don't yet know what the makeups of these committees are going to be in the House, correct? Is that right?
That is correct. And so that makes it a little harder when you're trying to build your coalition, because sometimes it's always helpful when you're running it through a certain committee to have those committee members being co-sponsors. And, we don't know any of that information yet. So, as soon as we do, and we should know that on the first day of session, that we should have a better idea.
Okay, a better idea at that point. Which committee do you think this would get run through, a bill like this?
I'd imagine it would run through the Judiciary Committee.
Okay, the Judiciary Committee. So we'll be watching, and that is a very important committee. We'll be watching, whatever that committee looks like at the end, when the committee assignments are picked. Now, is there? Because I know there were some changes last time as to how the committees were selected in the House. Is that still going to be the case? Are we going to stick with this I guess it's the old new rules, or is there talk about? Because I've heard maybe there's talk about maybe tweaking how that process is done.
Well, currently the way the rules are is the Speaker is going to select the committee. So that's as it stands right now. I'm not sure if there's going to be a rule change or not. I've heard colleagues say that they've thought about reversing it back to the old system, and so I think we'll see how it goes. See how many people feel that that's kind of a better way than what we did before, and so it's really kind of up in the air right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if you did see some legislators present legislation changing the rules back to the previous way that it was done.
Well, good. Well, State Representative Aaron Pilkington, it's always great to have you on the program. I appreciate your work on this issue. I know it's something that is important to the people of your district, but also across the rest of the state as well. And I'll see you down in Little Rock, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. See you then.
All righty. Aaron Pilkington, everybody.